Welcome to the lesson 1 still, but the part 2. Since I do not want to make those videos too long, here comes the second part. So in your, this is great, this wants to join as well. So now we are going to talk about the quick fix self-care ideas, which is the next page on what we have been talking about yesterday. So this one, and this is all about the mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and social self-care. So why are those different areas important? Because when we look at how much we can take care of ourselves, we probably see more an overview, but this gets us a little bit more detailed into what's actually really important. So mental self-care. What is mental self-care about? It's about the effect on what you do and how it makes you feel. So for example, after watching a funny movie, you probably feel lightened up and easy and with a smile. If you watch the news or something which is like tragic, it probably leaves you more like sad and down. So the choice is yours. How do you want to feel? This is part of your mental self-care. So another thing is like looking for the good when something is happening. Like, it's not only about like, oh, we just have to be positive and see all the good things. But if there's a situation where you get frustrated about, think about what you can learn from this. What can you take from that? So it's not always that everything is just so bad, but it's your own frustrations, it's your own anger, which usually takes over. But when we stop and when we see like, why do I react like that? Why do I get easily angry? So there you can turn the way you mentally feel afterwards. Because obviously it feels much better to see a different perception, a different perspective of a situation, rather than just like acting angry to it. So looking for the good when something unwanted happens. This is my life. Whenever I sit in front of the computer, this cat is here as well. So physical self-care. Be in nature 10 minutes a day. Well, at least, I mean, that's nothing. But if you can, a little longer, of course, better. But it's also better a little bit every day than one day fully and another day not at all. So going out is very important. Just breathing some fresh air. Another thing is like sleep, which I mentioned already earlier. Sleep is super important. I mean, if we cannot take that time to get enough rest, we will also not sleep well enough. So many people are chronically sleep deprived, and this is something which we really have to tackle. There will be in the autumn a little bit of more things we'll do on that, so to help everyone sleep a little bit better. How about on physical self-care? It's the nourishment, it's the food you eat, it's the right foods you eat. If you think about your food is your medicine, so eat what makes you feel good. And again, what we talked about yesterday, it comes back to feeling. Because when we don't feel, we don't notice that some foods are not good for us. So always choose pure, the least chemicalized, most nourishing foods possible. Another thing is like be clean and hygienic. This is a body thing, and for us in yoga, it's called saucha. Saucha means cleanliness, and it's part of our. It's not only physical when you're clean, but also mentally, because when you feel, when you're after a day and you're sweating and all you need is a shower. So that's part of taking care of yourself physically. Very, very, very important. I'm not going to go through all of them, but part of them so you can get your ideas. So emotional self-care. Talk it out. So when you wake up in the morning and you're frustrated and you're just in a bad mood, it's okay to express that. We don't always have to be like, oh no, I have to be in a positive mood, I have to feel good. No, it's not about that. It's about like that you can be what you feel and you can also share it with others. So I think that is a very important part as well, because otherwise we're holding it back, and it's this like fake positivity in this like new age spirituality nowadays, which is not something I like, because it's not all about being positive, even though I will encourage that. but it's about like expressing the way you feel and what's going on with you. Because when you can let go of that, then it's much easier to continue the next step. Another thing is like crying. Who likes to cry? I mean, I had a time where I had a really hard time to cry. I just didn't want to cry, or I didn't feel I just didn't feel that I could. And I was getting a treatment from a homeopath because I had an issue for many, many years. And she told me I should cry. And I'm like, I don't know how. But she did something which made me more sensitive to something else. And then suddenly the tears came, and I was crying for a long, long time, and much easier than it was before that. So crying is like cleansing. So just letting it out. This is like expressing your emotions, you know. We do not hold our emotions back, not at all. Observing how you feel without judgment. Yes, it's exactly that. If you're sad, it's okay to be sad, because when you accept that, then you will much faster move over it. We do not want to dwell in our sadness or in our frustrations. We just want to be recognizing it and then move on, and that's okay, and that's important as well. So when we get to the spiritual self-care, immersing yourself every day, 5 minutes, if possible, for a gratitude practice. Either writing down a few lines before going to sleep, maybe waking up in the morning, thinking about the things you're grateful for. I touch my heart center because it's very natural for me. Feeling gratitude has become very popular nowadays. Like it's a very hip thing, and because it's very powerful, it works. That is a feeling which leads to something deeper. And gratitude is something everyone can access. So we should not take it for granted, like saying, well, I'm anyways grateful. It's like, no, you have to feel it. You really, really have to feel that you're grateful. Being present while eating and drinking. That can be a very important one, because I believe we are having a hard time being present. And if you think about where you could do it, where you can use it as a practice, because you obviously cannot be present all day long. It's impossible. I can't do that. But if you're like, okay, now I'm sitting down to eat, this is the time where I actually feel how the food tastes, how it feels, how it looks. So I don't watch anything else. I don't go and listen to anything. I'm just completely present with my food. And I notice, like, for example, I eat too fast. And by recognizing that, changes can happen. So even though I often notice I eat too fast, but at least I'm aware, I'm present. Otherwise, I wouldn't notice it at all. There was a long time I didn't notice. So, it's about getting to know yourself. And that is very much spiritual self-care. How about learning to meditate? Maybe some of you already have a meditation practice, but this is definitely something which, when you're continuing here with me, that you get to hear a little bit more of. How about journaling? Journaling is a beautiful way, because when you journal, when you write down, and this is just for you, when we were kids, we had our diary, maybe. For me, when I was traveling, I always had my traveling diary, just writing down what I was doing, less than what I was feeling. But nowadays, it's about what I feel, and expressing it to your little book, and nobody else ever has to read that. It can be a very releasing and opening feeling. So it means that you open yourself up. And when you open yourself up spiritually, you open your heart, and you're more receptive and more expressive. So who doesn't want to be like that? And then the last one, the social self-care. How can we do that? So for example, plan a surprise for someone else. How does that feel? Like, in the end, when you do something for somebody else, it should never be about you. Even though it feels good to you, but it's always about the other person. So giving, doing something fun for somebody else, seeing how they react to it, it's a wonderful thing. So we should do nice things for others and never think about getting something nice back, but just to be able to give. Another way of doing social self-care is really, we should tell our loved ones that we love them much more often than we do. So every now and again, giving little notes or sending them a text, or somebody who you don't have around. like expressing that love is a very amazing way of like being in contact with yourself again. So it goes back to the spiritual. How about the people on social media which you may get annoyed at? It's good to unfollow them. It's good to anyways get a little bit less, because today the world is so big. We have contact with everything and everyone. And I had decided myself that I do not need to know everything anymore. I can, what I find through wherever I check, I read my information from, that's enough for me. So spending a little bit less time on social media, or only doing what's important. For example, like this, doing what's important. And then you don't feel so drained, because the feed, when you just keep looking, it drains. So I only look for that, what I'm interested in, and I leave out the rest. Good. So those were the 5 points, and I hope you can identify yourself with one of them. If you have the workbook here, you should maybe see what talks to you most. And then I would like you to do the exercise. So this is your homework. You go to your self-care wheel. So it's best to print it out, of course. And actually there's only 4 lines. So the middle there's a line missing. And now in this one, you go on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being the least satisfied and 5 being the most satisfied. Rate how satisfied you are with these 5 points. So if you get some colorings, it would be nice to just color in there, and then you get the really nice way of analyzing yourself when you have these little colors there. So do that, and then after you've done that, then go to your reflections. So here is my reflections. So, and then see what aha moments you have. What have you not thought about before? What is it you could improve on? So this is your homework, and if you really want to make this self-care challenge work, then it's worth doing this as well. These exercises can be really fun. Good. So I'm glad I got to do this. I had a little technical problems today, and I did already a video earlier, so this is the second one. I hope it didn't feel rushed, but I'm glad you're here and you're listening, and tell me in the comments how it feels. Have a good day.